What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Daily. We are live on a Thursday. It is opening day of the NFL. Papa Dude, we got a lot to talk about today. We've got best bets. We've got baseball. Let's get right into it. Let's just kick it right off here. Let's not waste any time. Let's go. Detroit and Kansas City tonight at Arrowhead Stadium to open off the 2023 season. Kansas City 4.5-point favorites here, Papa Dude. What do you think about this game?
Well, it's my best bet.
Yep.
So, first of all, don't we usually have 2 Thursday night games? Seems like
it's 2 Monday night games.
Okay, and I think we only have 1 this year, so we kind of changed it up a little bit. I was thinking we had 2 Thursday night games last year, but I very definitely could be wrong. Mm-hmm. I've been burned on the Chiefs a lot. And I just feel like tonight, this point spread is too low. And it's went down. It was 6.5 on Monday, and now it's down to 4.5. And I just can't see the Chiefs losing this game. I just cannot see them. I see in the chat somebody disagrees. Mm-hmm. Okay, when you come into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs, you better have a great quarterback. Mm-hmm. No knock on Ray Goff, but he's not great. And I don't think Ray Goff's going to come into Arrowhead.
Jared Goff.
Huh?
Jared Goff.
Jared Goff. Who's Ray Goff? He was a coach. I don't see that's how much I know about this guy. He had a great year. I think Detroit's a little bit overrated. I don't think they're ready for this. I don't think Mahomes is going to lose this game, and I think they're going to cover. So I'm going with the Chiefs, and I didn't even hesitate. They've beat me before, but it's Thursday night in Arrowhead. They're not playing the Bills. They're not playing the Bengals. They're playing a team that was the laughing stock of the league up until the halfway point of last year. Now, I do think Detroit's better. I don't think they're ready for prime time. So I'm going Chiefs to cover tonight.
Well, I think the question marks around Travis Kelce is why the line moved like it did. I mean, it's going to play a factor if he's out, but they are going up against a Lions defense. Not so good. So I think you're going to be okay there. It's who knew that we were going to get a Ray Goff reference, the former
I'm sorry.
Georgia Bulldog coach. But
well, in my defense, I'm stressed. We're moving. We got to be. The movers are coming tomorrow. I am wore out. So sorry, guys.
I think the problem is the line, and I think with the Chiefs over the last when they've been good, they haven't covered these type of lines.
Yep.
So. I think that's my worry with your pick here. I think the buyback on the Lions has been pretty big. I think for this to go down all the way to 4.5 is pretty alarming. I like the Lions better when it was 6.5 or 5.5. And if you got that, that's good. 4.5, I would reluctantly take the Chiefs, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if they don't cover this. Just that's how they've been over the years. That is just they have in these type of games. Now, here's the deal. Like you said, it's Thursday night. It's Arrowhead.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get a good effort for the Chiefs. Yeah. I think as long as Kelce's fairly healthy, they're going to put up points. Chris Jones being out is a problem.
It is.
I think that's a worthwhile problem. I think the Chiefs are going to cover this one, but they have had trouble in the past with covering games. Period.
When they have trouble, though, it's not on a national game like this. Mm-hmm. This is the difference. They'll get beat on a Sunday afternoon when they're playing somebody, that's not quite. They're good enough to beat them if you don't play well. Mm-hmm. This is a spotlight game, and I just don't think they're going to get beat. I think they're going to cover this because I'm not as high on Detroit as a lot of people are.
Yeah, I'm not either. And I mean, we talked about it. This is when Detroit kind of falters, right? When everybody thinks they're going to be decent, and then it's like, oh, maybe not. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. It's a fun game to start off. It's an awkward opponent. You would think usually the Super Bowl defending champion gets more of a name in there.
Yeah.
That's not the case here. So,
I think the NFL is really pointing towards Detroit. They were a good story towards the end last year, and what they did was really good. And I think they can win their division.
Mm-hmm.
But we ain't playing the Minnesota Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, and the Chicago Bears. We're playing the Kansas City Chiefs with a guy by the name of Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think he's going to be ready to play tonight. I just do.
Yep, for sure. All right, before we get into baseball, Rodney had a question about Kentucky Downs. We'll actually talk about Kentucky Downs. Any tips or what to watch for?
Oh, God.
You kind of just have to stay consistent with what you're doing. I mean, you cannot, if you get rattled by losing, don't play it because you're going to lose. But when you do win, they're pretty nice payouts. The one consistent thing year after year that I can tell you is the course plays longer than what it is. So if the race is a mile, look for horses that really want to go a mile and a 16th. If the race is 6.5 furlong, look for horses that you really think want to go a mile. It just plays longer. It's uphill towards the end of that track. It's just a weird configuration. The track's kind of not rolling hills, but there are ups and downs within the track. It usually plays longer than what it says. So kind of look for horses that want the distance plus a little bit. That's the one big tip. As far as like, hey, how's the track playing this or that? That's a day-to-day mystery. So you can't really look into that quite as much.
I know what you and I do every morning on the picks. I hate this track. It is so difficult to narrow it down. It's it's a tough track.
It is a tough one. And like I said, again, if losing makes you panicked or worried or upset or get mad, don't go there. Don't play it because you can't consistently win there. But like I said, when you do win, it is a really nice payoff. And that is the big thing about it. But yeah, just try to play those horses that want to go a little bit further than the listed distance. That is one angle that I've had success with over the years. It's the only angle that I've really had success with over the years. All right, let's go to baseball, then we'll go back to Kentucky Downs. Big night. I mean, football's back, but baseball is still in the middle of some incredible playoff chases right now. Seattle's involved in one. They're trying to hold on to the wild card spot or win the division, only a game out of that division. They go to Tampa tonight. Seattle's minus 135 because Castillo is on the mound. You taking the Mariners or are you taking the Rays in this spot?
Well, the pitching matchup favors Seattle greatly. Seattle was red hot. They've cooled off a little bit, but they're still playing okay. They got red hot and took advantage of the A's and the Royals. And they maybe even played the White Sox during that time, maybe even Colorado. I can't remember. But they took advantage of it, which you have to do. Yeah. And they got to rolling. They were in first place for a couple of days. And now they've slipped back a game behind Houston that's suddenly came to life. It's hard for me to pick against Tampa Bay at home. It really is. So I'm going to go with the Rays tonight simply because they're the dogs. And Seattle, I don't think they're great. And the pitching matchup's a little scary. If Tampa can get solid pitching for 5 innings or so, I think they'll beat them late. So I'm going to go with the Rays simply because of the underdogs, and they're at home.
Yeah, Seattle lost 2 out of 3 against the Mets, then lost 2 out of 3 against the Reds, even though they kind of had a beat in all 3 of those games and blew a couple. And I think the starting pitching is the key. Mm-hmm. If there is a weakness on the Mariners lately, at least, it's been the bullpen. They have had really struggles getting people out. I think Castillo takes care of that today, though. He is solid.
He is.
And you looked at it, hey, if Littell could give the Rays 5 innings, if Castillo can give Seattle 7 innings, I think they win. So I'm taking the Mariners. I put this game on there, though, because I thought it was a toss-up.
It's a really good game.
Yeah. It should be a very good game.
You know, Tampa's playing well again. Tampa's, I don't know if you've noticed, but they have got starting pitching problems. So they've got 2 of their best pitchers out, and they're still maintaining. So that says something about them. They've hung in there pretty well.
Yep. I agree. All right, let's go to Detroit and the Detroit Tigers and the New York Yankees. I put this on here because I bet many people didn't think the Yankees would be back over 500 this year. They are. They have brought up young players. They are playing exceptionally well. They still have little to absolutely zero chance to make the playoffs, but it's odd how they've turned it around. They're minus 160 for the sweep a day against Detroit. Do you believe in the Yankees now?
Well, I cashed on them last night. I got a parlay, had them in the parlay, thought they were going to blow it. They didn't. So I got my parlay with them in Arizona yesterday, which paid plus 133. They're playing great. You got to hand it to them. You really do. It shows the pride of that franchise, I think, because they were tanking it. They couldn't beat anybody.
They were the worst team in baseball
Yeah,
for a while. Yeah.
they were just playing awful. They dropped what 4 or 5 games below 500, I think, maybe even 6.
Uh-huh.
And now they're back a game above.
Yeah.
Pitching matchup's not great for them today, but they're at home. I've got to go with them. At minus 160, you're not going to make anything on them, but I don't think Detroit's going to beat them.
I'm with you. I'm going to go to the Yankees, and I think you parlay them with somebody and,
Yeah, you can do that.
Go for it that way. So, I like this Yankees team here. It's incredible that they've turned this around. I thought they were left for dead, going to finish 15 games under.
I did too.
To be 1 game over, it's pretty incredible.
All
right. Segue before we get to the race of the day. A lot of people talking about the having a meltdown situation. This isn't the show for it, but yeah, we will discuss it on Blinkers Off, I'm sure. So that's that. That's all I'll say on that. All right. But yes, I am aware, and yes, definitely we'll see that. Yeah, I'm not on Twitter, so I don't go to Twitter for my information either. So maybe I can bring a different light on what I've heard versus what's may or may not be true. Who knows on Twitter. So, all right, let's go to Kentucky Downs. Race 9 on the card today. $500,000 purse here. The Jeff Ruby One Dreamer Stakes. Field is now 8 as 1 horse scratched out of it. The 3 is scratched, but now a field of 8. Cohen postward here. Papa Dude, this is a toughie, like all of them are. I kind of like a horse in here, though, but I want to know your thoughts first. Who do you like in this one?
Well, it's a very difficult race, as most of them are at Kentucky Downs. I like 2 of them. I like the 4 and the 7. The 4 has been running. Chad Brown horse hasn't been running real well, which is a little scary. 6th, a 3rd, and a 4th the last 3 times out.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's a little bit scary. I settled on the 7 simply because I think that horse can get out in front. It might be tough to catch. I think the 4 is going to have to go get that 7 if he's going to win. I don't think he can let him get out in front. The 7 won 3 in a row, broke its maiden, then won 2 allowance races, got the lead, kept it. Finished 2nd last time out and ran pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead with the 7 and think he gets the lead. It's going to be tough to catch. But I like the 4 as well. Oh, somebody just said the 4 is scratched.
Was the 4 a late scratch, guys? Because that was not on my original list.
Yeah, when I checked it, it wasn't scratched.
No. Let me quickly check on this.
Yeah,
and not that I don't believe you guys, just that was not on my original scratch list. So, and of course, that's the horse I really like. So that.
Yeah, I knew you were going to pick that one.
Great.
I do not see him scratched, but
let me look on this one here. Yeah, no, he definitely did scratch it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That had to be in the last 5 minutes.
Here's an interesting thing that I've noticed, just kind of a heads up for people, and something that okay. Let me back up. So every day, one of my huge jobs at this time of day is to update the picks for scratches, right? I mean, it's a very, you got to do it quickly. You have to be timeful about, you got to, and I've trusted Equibase for scratches for a long time. Their scratches the last 2 weeks have not been accurate. So I don't know where to go other than going right to your, your ADW and go right to those track pages and go race by race and see who scratched. But these Equibase scratches have been pathetic. So super pissed because look, I mean, that's a main place for information.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important that scratches come out at a timely manner and that scratches are accurate. And this is about the 5th time in the last 2 weeks a major scratch has been missed. So not happy right here, as you could tell by the sound of my voice, that this has happened. But anyway, So, okay, well, let me backtrack here. I like For the Flag even more now. I think this horse is going to be pretty tough to beat in the spot as I type and talk because I have to update this. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm with you now. I think the pace really does set up well for the 7. I think the 7 has been, a consistent horse, a horse that you kind of know, hey, we're going to the front, and that's that. Are you worried the 8 might pressure the horse? That's the only worry I have now with this one.
Yeah, I like that. I like the 8 as well. Could get up there, and we'll just have to see. This horse has got to prove For the Flag that it's good enough to win a race like that.
Yeah,
and we'll see. Somebody's going to go pressure him, I think.
You would think, although this is the only one that's really consistent about just going out in front. And I thought the 4, who was scratched, by the way, I thought the 4 would be the one that could go get it late.
Yeah, he had shown speed. He had shown some speed.
Right. So. Yeah. But now I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm glad that Equibase has been struggling for other, and it's not just a me problem, although I knew how could it just be me? It's just a website. So yeah, not happy about that one, Papa Dude. Not happy at all. All right. Let's move on. Nothing makes me more irritated than that right there, because you go to a site that's where the only horse racing data is supposed to come from, and it's wrong all the time.
That's wrong.
Anyway, all right, let's go to the best bets here. We'll get it off. Papa Dude, we'll go to you first here. If somebody missed it, you're going Chiefs -4.5. Give your reasoning there one more time.
Well, one more time is it's on the national stage tonight. I'm not crazy about the Lions. I know the Chiefs have some injuries, and then Jones is out. Kelsey, I think, will play. He's another guy. He doesn't miss these kind of games, and if he's capable of playing at all. And I just don't think Jared Goff is good enough to go in there and beat him. I just don't. I'm not as high on Detroit as a lot of people. I just think the Chiefs cover. I think they're ready for this. They do have trouble covering sometimes. This is not a very big spread, and I just think Mahomes is going to be ready to play this one.
All right, very good. You stole some time there as they update all these products frantically that use the 6 everywhere, or excuse me, use the 4 everywhere. I will see what happens here. Magic is going to go to Horseshoe Indianapolis today. He's going to go race 4 on the card. He's going to go the number 2, Single Her, and he thought that horse was aptly named. Single Her thinks lone speed going 2 turns on the turf at Horseshoe Indianapolis is going to be very tough to beat. So give him in race 4, number 2, Single Her, 8-5. That's going to be his best bet today, and that will be his single in everything that he's going to be doing today. All right, I went to Major League Baseball today. I'm going to go the Dodgers -120. Another game that, I don't love laying like minus numbers, but had some success with it last week and just feel like this one's a little mispriced. The Dodgers have lost 2 in a row here in Miami. I do not think they will lose 3 in a row. I think the Dodgers come back today, get a win, at least get 1 out of 3 before heading out of town. Miami's been hot, though, really hot. They are due to kind of lose. I like the pitching matchup in the Dodgers' favor today. Got a rookie on the mound that's pitching very well. Of course, Braxton Garrett on the mound for the Marlins. He's tough as well, but I think that's why you're getting that -120. So give me the Dodgers -120. Papa Dude, what do you think of that?
I like your logic a lot. You talked about the Yankees dead in the water. How about Miami? They were too. They were really struggling, and now they've got to playing well. And right now, I believe they're in the playoffs. I think they've got that last spot in the National League. And my buddy and I were talking this morning when we were walking. The Braves aren't playing very well right now, although they did take 3 out of 4 from LA, but they've come home and the Cardinals have wiped them out 2 nights in a row. And the Dodgers aren't playing very well either. I think they're bored a little bit. They have such huge leads in their division that I think they've kind of hit the skids a little bit. I'm like you. I just don't see them losing 3 in a row in Miami.
Hard to see him losing 3 in a row. We'll see what happens, though. With baseball right now, it's been pretty wild. This stuff has been good. We might talk about it at the end of our show today, just how crazy baseball has been over the last
fun.
I think this is the best season they've had the best one they've had in a while.
Well, I've followed it so much closer than I have the last few years. And by the way, one more thing I want to point out, Adam Wainwright is trying to get to 200 wins for the Cardinals, and he needs 2. Okay, and they've scored. I think they scored 10 runs on whatever night, Tuesday night, and they scored 12 last night. And he's pitching today against the Brave Watch. They won't score at all today. He's running out of chances to get those last 2 wins. I'd like to see him get it. He's a first-class guy.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get it, though.
I don't either.
It's tough. Yeah, so the problem with Kentucky down scratches, they're not accurate either the night before, and they add them. I know about that. So what I do for, like, Andy Serling, because when he tweets out scratches, they're always accurate. I'll give him credit. I just go to Google and type in Andy Serling Twitter, and you can get his feed without having to go to Twitter. So so I do that with Kentucky Downs, but they're not always – they tweet them too early. There's horses that still come out of it, and – unfortunately, that doesn't work for me. So, all right. Yep. Let's go through them now. I have had enough of this ranting about it, and everybody cares about it. But let's go to the picks here. Dodgers minus 120 for me today. Like I said, I just think the Dodgers don't get swept in Miami. Magic's going Horseshoe, Indianapolis, race 4. He likes the 2 single her at 8-5. Papa Dude going Chiefs minus 4.5. For the year, up $571. We were doing great last week. Went 0-3 on Sunday. That sucked, but hopefully we get going this week. All right, before we go, Papa Dude, who's winning the NFC and who's winning the AFC?
Oh my goodness, the NFC is tough. I'm going with the Chiefs and the AFC till I see something different. I do think there's some. I think the AFC is top heavy. I think the better teams are in the AFC. The NFC, the Eagles were in the Super Bowl last year, and there's no one that's really improved that much, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how good they are either. They have a much tougher schedule than they did last year, which leads me to kind of stay away from them. But who's the next best team? I don't know. I really don't. 49ers is question mark on quarterback, so it's hard to pick them. Seattle, will Geno Smith come back that way? I don't know. The NFC South is terrible. The NFC Central or North is not very good. Mm-hmm. I'll stay with the Eagles, but I wouldn't bet a nickel on it. What about you?
Oh, I'm going San Francisco out of the NFC and Kansas City out of the AFC.
So you're going to follow Brock Purdy, the guy that you cannot stand.
I think they would have beat him last year if he hadn't got hurt. I don't think they need that good of a quarterback there. I don't. They're so loaded everywhere else. I just feel like they're going to do it. So I went San Francisco. I think the roster is just too good. And I mean, with the AFC, it wouldn't surprise me with the Bills. It wouldn't surprise me Cincinnati, but as long as Mahomes is in Kansas City, I'll just pick him every year.
Me too.
I mean, I've been right most of the time, right?
That's right.
So I know it's like, oh no, blah, 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 blah. It's like, I mean, it's just really hard to beat him. And so I trust him over everybody else. So I went Chiefs and San Francisco. So, all right, let's get out of here. But before we do, I'll tell you about the other shows. We are going to be back, meaning Papa Dude and I will be back in 36 minutes. Our show will be at noon Central today, covering all the NFL Week 1 games and all the college football Week 2 games. So that'll be coming up, like I said, in 36 minutes. Blinkers off. The last I heard, it was supposed to be at 1 o'clock or at 2 o'clock. However, I have not heard from Jared yet today, so I have no idea. I would assume the Magic Mike show is normal time. I'm not quite sure on that one, though, as well. I would say 4 o'clock Central time for the Magic Mike show. So that's what we got going. I know we got 4 shows. I know the times of this show and the next one. After that, it's a guess at this point. So, all right, guys, thanks everybody for joining us. We will be back tomorrow for more Best Bets. Hopefully, we're ahead for the week after this. All right, guys, we'll see you next week.